there's a problem in the martial arts world, and you could really say in the training world in general, and this applies more to competitive athletes than it does to people who are just on their own private journey. But there comes a time when you kind of become the best in your gym, or the best in your dojo, or whatever kind of facility you're training at. And this doesn't happen to everybody by any means. I mean, most martial arts students don't last 6 months, which is an unfortunate fact. If you've recently started martial arts, stick around. The best stuff is coming later. We're just building your foundation right now. But the thing is that when you become the best your school has to offer, that means that you're not getting sufficient challenge for growth yourself most of the time. Now, how do you judge that? I mean, there's, you use vague terms like the best, and well, what does that actually mean? In this case, I'm speaking more from the idea of martial arts, but you could certainly apply this to something like gymnastics, parkour, although parkour, generally you're training outside in the street and not in a gym. CrossFit, even anything that's kind of skill-based. The thing is, when you're relying on other people to challenge you, as martial arts very much does, you have to realize that just because you're the best where you are doesn't mean you're the best on your block, in your town, certainly not necessarily in your city, not in your country, not in the world. There is no definitive measure of the best. I mean, some people have flawless technique and very little active stress response or fight capability. Some people have amazing fight capability and no technique whatsoever, and that's just a polarization there. There's other options to measure by. But a good example is like competitive jiu-jitsu fighters. Get to a point where there are no obvious problems with their technique, and despite the fact that they may not even have reached, say, black belt yet, nobody else in their class is providing a challenge for them, whether they just have a knack for it or are just diligent, and at blue belt they are competing with black belts. Whatever the deal is, you see this happen a lot. A couple of young kids, in their mid-teens, get really high ranked, they start winning regional championships or local championships or whatever, and they start getting bored because they're the best. Well, the thing is they're not the best. They're just the best out of a very, very small cross-section of the world, and they need to be challenged in other ways. Now, let's say that you have made it through every single grappling competition in the world, every high-level one at the top. You have, high rank or master status or whatever in all of the major grappling arts, and you are undefeated. Well, what's next? What do you do? Well, first of all, I guarantee you that tomorrow is another day, and well, really, it's the same day. There's no such thing as days, but there's always a chance for something else to happen. But beyond that, you can always branch off from what you know. If you're a hard stylist, go soft. If you're a grappler, go striking. If you are an external stylist, go internal. There's always something you can do to challenge yourself and work on your progression and grow. So don't get discouraged by the fact that you might be getting bored because nobody's offering you a challenge. It just means the selection's not very good where you're from. Tell you what, every martial arts class that I have been in, I have ranked up very quickly compared to my peers. And I have easily physically dominate them, but I also have the fact that I am almost always the biggest, strongest person in the class. I put in a lot of time and effort, I put in a lot of research, and I take my training seriously. But I'm not the best. By far, I'm not the best. There's still an instructor, right? The day that I can beat my instructor at every aspect of my art is the day that I will willfully walk away from that class, because then there's literally nothing left for me there. But that would also indicate that the instructor is not progressing. And if your instructor is not progressing, you probably need to find a new place to study anyway. I am very fortunate to have an excellent Sifu in Wing Chun. I was very fortunate to have excellent instructors in Kempo. I was, when it was MMA, I didn't have a coach or an instructor. We were a group of guys that got together to share ideas and compete. And god damn it, they were the best guys to train with ever. I mean, we got in there and slugged it out, and when we had to take an easy day, we took an easy day. We worked on other things, but when we wanted to go hard, we went hard, and it was awesome. And that's the thing. You've always got to find a way to stimulate and challenge yourself, and you have to understand that you are not, and you will never be, objectively the best. A friend of mine used to say you can be as good as it gets, but you can never be the best. And that's simply because being the best is a quantity that cannot be measured, or a quality, really, that cannot be measured. So strive for it. It's like striving to be faster than your reflection in a mirror. It's impossible. Your reflection is literally light. You cannot move faster than light. But god damn it, try, because it gives you something to work for. So just understand, you're not the mightiest. You're not the strongest. You're not the best. You simply have overcome a small section of the available competition, and it's time to move on, or find another challenge, or change something about your training to do something else. If you get bored because you can't do only balls to the wall training all the time, you need to work on your mindset, because you can't do balls to the wall training all of the time. That's all I got for you. I've been rambling on long enough, so I'll talk to you later. Good journey.